Hi, this is Ashio, and welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings. In the last part, we kind of sat back a little bit, we took stock, and we relaxed, hanging out with Naomi, just to kind of have a bit of a breather and a break of all the stuff that's been going on. But I think it's time we get back into it, and I think let's go hang out with Bryce. So many people to be hanging out with, we've got to juggle all these people. Yep, right on cue. Let's see if we can avoid a broken bottle this time. Hey. Hey, Bryce. I know you said you wanted to get out of that small apartment of yours, but I'm not sure if mine's much different. Well, I figured yours couldn't be any worse than mine, and now that I'm seeing it from the inside, I have to say, the council didn't do a bad job with it at all. I assume it's appropriate for someone with my status, whereas the chief of police has to make do with whatever he can get. You said it was only temporary. It is, but I'm getting really sick of it, to be honest. I can imagine. Anyway, what's the plan today? Plan? We gotta do something, right? Well, I'd offer you some bugs, but I know you just say you have enough fibre in your diet. Yeah, I was thinking about all that since the day you called all of us together to save Amelia. I never would have believed time travel was a thing if you didn't make me actually do it myself. It still feels so surreal. Well, I already know you're going to raid the fridge to see if I have something to drink, so maybe we could discuss it in detail while you go guzzle down the second cheapest wine Remy could find. Wow, you know me a little too well. I just roll my eyes with a smirk. Left drawer on the bottom. I watch with amusement as Bryce headed for the kitchen. Just as instructed, he raided the fridge and pulled out one of the two produce drawers where I'd stashed the wine after cleaning the fridge out that one time. Found it. Just be sure not to guzzle it down in one swig this time. While I heard it's only the second cheapest, I kinda don't remember if I ever got to taste it. You mean, even with all your time travelling, your awareness has its holes. There's way too much stuff to go over, and some small details do get lost along the way. While he sits his Scaly behind down on my couch, I go look for a glass. I don't plan on drinking much, but I could at least get a taste for better or worse. Give us a piece. With glass in hand, I sit down on the armchair soon after. You know, it still baffles me how this is even possible. I already know you don't read science fiction at all, and think all of it's bad, but some of them really do hit closer to reality than they should. And I also won't bore you with all the technical details, and I won't reiterate my reasons. Everybody's heard it enough times already. Right, Anna. I saw you two acting all lovey-dovey at the production facility and the station the day her assistant got arrested. Yeah, I'm actually surprised you didn't mention that the last time we were together, when Sebastian was taking the piss out of me. It honestly slipped my mind in the moment. As for Anna, I just didn't exactly expect it out of her. She used to work with us, you know. Oh, I know. I also know she's Maverick's ex. That was an awkward conversation. What even got you two together anyway? Besides the biology degrees, you two don't really seem to have too much in common. There's a saying among humans that's been true for thousands of years. It's called opposites attract. To put it bluntly, her prickly, haughty superiority complex-laden attitude is what drew me to her in the first place, and judging by her reactions, your squishy human nature pulled her towards you. I mean, kinda. See, the thing is, despite the ice cream attitude she hides behind, deep down, she's a big softie that's just afraid of getting hurt. I'm sure all those accolades, grade skips and awards she got inflated her ego during her childhood a lot, but she's not naive. I mean, despite our differences in personal experience, she used to call Maverick a big softie too. What do you mean differences? You and Maverick work shockingly well together. Yeah, about that. Despite this being the second timeline where he doesn't hate my guts, this is like the only timeline that I know of where Maverick and I actually work together, so the fact that we did mesh so well is something that's surreal to me. What? Yeah, you heard me right. Every other timeline, Mav only warmed up to me after Reza was either dead or incarcerated. Most of the time, though, he kinda didn't make it. Okay, now you have to tell me more. While I collect my thoughts on all the investigations I could skip in this timeline, I see Bryce is opening the bottle. Save some for me though? Right, sorry. I quickly get him to pour me a glass, because I'd rather taste this mess without dragging saliva all over it. Alright, gimme. And just like that, the rest of it's gone in one fell swoop. Goodness, this really does smell like some cheap swill. Hey, it gets the job done. I'm not sure if drinking like a dragon's a phrase, but if it isn't, it should be. Hey, not everyone can drink like you, I know. Cheeky bastard. Anyways, you said something about Maverick. Right, so here's the deal. Every other timeline, Reza injures him and then escapes into the wilderness. Because of that, Mav always suspected me to be an accomplice of his, just because I'm human, yet he could never find any proof. Hell, every investigation we had into Reza's murders, I was there to assist with. It kinda stung for him that you sent him on forced sick leave, making him feel cast aside. That's to say nothing of how much you blamed yourself for not doing something different. He would be taking Reza's situation very personally too, unable to rest, unable to reconcile the difference between him and me, always on edge and being all suspicious. Confronting me while I'm running errands for you guys because you're all understaffed. Nothing but vague threats and questions he doesn't believe the answers to. It's an actual miracle I got him to listen to me the night we arrested Reza. About that, what was he even doing there? It wasn't his shift, and nobody authorised him to be following Reza around past 8 PM anyway. Remember the receipts we got from Zhong? Reza was buying suspicious amounts of lemons. He used some of those to send me a vaguely coded letter, and that she expected me to know a random 4th grade science lesson to decode it. You know, lemon juice makes invisible ink that's revealed with heat and all. Apparently he's been using those for a while, if the receipts are to be believed. Right, we talked about that when we went out drinking that one night. I thought we weren't going to mention that. Sorry. Anyways, Mav could smell the lemons in his letters, and decided to follow him that night. After I decoded the letter I got from Reza in the other timelines, like a gullible idiot, I go out there to meet with him. Now, according to my sources, either one of two things happened at that moment. One is that Mav shows up, gets shot and Reza escapes, or he doesn't, I refuse his plans, gets shot and die. That's it. No alternatives. Apparently Mav following Reza leads into following me as well, while I'm on my way, and since I kinda know what's coming, I confronted him. I assumed it didn't exactly go too well, knowing him. You'd be correct, he called me insane, and said that he's gonna act like he heard nothing out of my lunatic nonsense. Either way, I told him I'm gonna act like normal, which means I will blow his cover, since I always noticed him sneaking around in the nearby bushes. However, unlike most of the time where I'm completely clueless and confused, I was ready for Reza to pull his gun out at Maverick, and I just introduced Reza to the concept of my fist to his face. Then I just screamed at Mav to cuff him before he could escape. That one single act prevented up to 12 dragons from dying, Bryce. Just imagine the pressure on you trying to find Reza, with him always being 2 steps ahead of us. And that's to say nothing about Emera. Wait, Emera, what does she have to do with all of this? Oh, you think she's acting weird with you now? In other timelines, she literally pulls you off of your post as chief and turns you into her personal bodyguard after 2 weeks. Hell, if Maverick hadn't sabotaged the portal by then, she would have sent me home. And then she also has the balls to be flirty with you? That sounds like absolute hell to me. Yeah, I can imagine. What you described at the barbecue not too long ago was tame by comparison. Either way, we've wasted a lot of time thanks to her, and go nowhere leads every time. Which just increased both the pressure and the tension on you, until you were more alcohol by volume than dragon at some point. I can see that happening. What did you say? 12 deaths? 4 of those wouldn't be Reza's fault, but that's at least 8 deaths, 5 directly, 2 indirectly, and 1 being an either-or situation. Leading to a pretty awkward conversation between you and me right about now-ish. Really? Yeah, both of us would get frustrated with the whole getting nowhere situation, leading to that. I point to the empty wine bottle on the table. Landing on the wall over there. Then you'd ask me if I think it's easy for you to see so many people die on your watch. Okay, this is getting creepy. Not the first dragon I've heard this from in the past 2 weeks. Let me take a wild guess. You've had this in a dream a few days ago? Judging by the silence, the answer's yes. That's the other timelines bleeding into this one, giving you memories of your other selves in dreams or nightmares. It's bizarre. Like, I just want to ask how I could remain so calm. Do all those who have died not matter to me? Obviously it's not the case, else I wouldn't be back here trying to prevent it all. See, this is why I find this so creepy. I can't imagine knowing all of this and also having to anticipate it. It's not exactly easy to live with the knowledge, you know. Every time I'm left behind to start a new one means I left those I could help behind. I could have easily settled in any of the timelines where the world didn't just end, but I didn't, because I wanted something better. It's a miracle I'm only getting jaded and didn't resort to drinking like you. I can't help but wonder how much worse this would have been if you're telling it to me like this. Well, we both know the research about police and alcoholism's out there. Right, but the general populace doesn't want to know about unhappy things like that. Besides, they trust their chief. If they knew about it, maybe they'd start to have their doubts. Even if it's common knowledge that you visit the bar a little too often. I don't know, maybe they don't realise how it affects me. They see someone who can drink a lot and does it for fun. They don't realise what it means. Right around now would be the part where I tell you that this doesn't surprise me in the least. Alcoholic police chief used to be a big stereotype in the human world, before the fall at least. Really? What else? Nothing too specific that I've seen to apply to you guys, but there were a lot of cops who were using their status as a way to abuse power in some countries. Shoot first, ask questions later, and then there are the head cases like the other Mavericks who are all vigilante justice in tunnel vision. But insofar as to applying to dragons, the drinking one is the only one that I've seen apply, maybe a bit less in this time than others. All thanks to you. I don't really think so. You're still the same Bryce deep down. You just have less reasons to drink so heavily. Don't sell yourself short, dude. Your contributions helped a lot. Just imagine if you weren't in the vicinity when Anna got cornered by Damien. Or that teacher. Then again, if I hadn't brought a cure for Anna back with me, and didn't ask her to destroy whatever sample she got from Reza, Damien never would have gotten that desperate. Samples. A long story. Anna needed samples for her research and tried to get some from Reza and I. I gave them to her with my own special permission, bypassing the council, but asked her to destroy anything she got from Reza. I can't exactly cover her ass about that part, so asking her to get rid of it was the only thing I could do to keep her safe. I see. And what would have happened had Damien not gotten desperate? Either she or Damien would be dead by now. My point's exactly, despite everything, it really does boil down to your actions making life better for the rest of us, so keep your chin up, kid. Believe me, since Anna left us and his brother died, I've never seen Maverick so content with his life than after the night Reza got arrested. You've saved more than just his life. Also, Damien might be upset that he's in prison, but I think he'd rather be in prison than dead. My point with all this is, we're all a very tight-knit group at the police station. Me, Sebastian, Maverick, Naomi. The bond we form on the job is how we know to look out for each other. And whatever you did, or said, or have done with Maverick has been a blessing for us all. You know what? I'll drink to that. I would, but I kinda already emptied the bottle. Lucky for you, there's a second one in the cupboard. Why, you've been holding out on me all this time. Hey, can't let you guzzle everything down in the first minute, Bryce. What would we do then? Fine, you win. I get back up from the couch and go find the second bottle of wine, deep down hoping I won't be flashed by a certain dragon this time. Keep the bottles where we can see them, please. While I do so, I start to hear the explosions of the fireworks outside. Which reminds me, looks like the fireworks have started. Yeah, must be the summer festival. You wanted to get out of your apartment and rather go to the festival, you came here? The festival isn't really anything special for me anymore. Seen one, seen them all. Besides, it's usually more a thing for families. Judging by your expression, you've heard me say this before, huh? You know it. Still, you could have watched them. Well, nobody even really cares about the first couple of days. It's only on the last day, when they bring out the big ones. I usually watch those. Oh, so if there's big explosions, then you care? Well, yeah, but it's also a big tradition here. Maybe even an ideological one. You know, everyone in the whole town united under the stars, watching the beautiful fireworks. It's kind of a thing. Maybe this time, I'll actually get to watch the damn finale. Everybody always keeps hyping it up, and every cycle I have to miss it. Really? Why? Reza. I always realised that he could hide his gunshots under the explosions of the fireworks, and I had to go after him to stop him from escaping. And always a few minutes after the finale started. Damn, every time. Except the last one. I realised things early on the day and called everybody together, so we made this big plan to stop in advance, but it didn't go too well. What happened this time? We lost the generator under the portal and had to evacuate this world, but now that that's not going to be an issue, I hope I can finally view it. Got any plans in mind? Maybe. I'm still a bit on edge, nothing certain at this point. Sounds like you should take your girlfriend to it. What, Anna? I wouldn't mind, to be honest. Why don't you ask her out then? I plan to, but what I'm uncertain on is whether I should go with just her, or, well, everyone. Now there's an idea. I'm not sure how feasible it would be. I mean, I could probably put it off, but first, we all need a bit of time to catch our breath, you know? Right. We spent the rest of the evening down in the second bottle and catching glimpses of the fireworks that could be seen from my window. Once the bottle was empty and the fireworks died down, we swapped a few more stories about Bryce's experience in the field and what I've seen working with him and Sebastian in the past. It was certainly interesting to hear Bryce's side of the story when it comes to Sebastian and Naomi, especially after what she said about meeting him for the first time. I also learned that apparently Sebastian's specialty in police work is criminology of all things. That combined with Naomi's analytical skills is quite the combo. Either way, the day was getting late, and I didn't exactly plan on spending the night in bed with Bryce, so eventually it was time for us to say our goodbyes. That was a nice little get-together. Once Bryce left the premises, I decided it was time for bed. Falling into my bed without even getting out of my daily clothes, I closed my eyes and hoped for a quick drift off to dreamland. My mind was begging for a quick rest, not really in the mood to toss and turn in my bed alone tonight. That's it. Hopefully a nice little sleep. The morning sun vanquished the night, waking me with warm rays on my face. As I got out of bed, I noticed a message light up at the phone. Oh, I wonder who this could be from. I don't recognise this number. I wobbled over to the phone from the bed, pressing the button on the receiver. Hello? Emera. Okay. I'd like to inform you that our council has managed to convince every news outlet to bury Dr. Amelia's situation and not make a massive story about it. I'd also like to thank you for not frolicking around with her in town before this message could reach you. Your discretion in the matter is greatly valued. Nevertheless, we hope you could continue to keep her out of the limelight as much as possible for everyone's sakes. I know the festival is important and all, and she would probably like to see as much of it as possible, but please do be careful. Thanks. Screw you too. Well, it wasn't bad news. It was good news, so I guess we should welcome that with open arms. But yeah, we hung out with Bryce. Why not? Let's go hang out with, I think, Adine. Adine is the next person we're going to be chilling with. There goes the bell. Hey, hey. Yo. I brought a surprise guest. Guess who came with me? Who's this? Oh, hey, Amelia. Good to see you too. How are you holding up? Pretty well, all things considered. I got a message today stating that I could finally start moving around a bit, provided I'm not making myself look too conspicuous. Wow, I bet being able to stretch your wings is going to be nice. That, and being able to see my best friend's debut on the big stage. What if people start asking questions? I'll just pretend to be somebody else. I didn't really have that many friends in this town anyway, what with me being focused on my research and all. I already know what her work was due to Remy telling me, but I figured I should ask her to keep the conversation going regardless. What did you research? I used to be an inventor, still might continue to be one soon enough. My last 2 projects were looking for ways to streamline hospital processes and tests by utilising new technology. I read the reports of the rest of my team. After I died, the entire project fell apart, and they could barely salvage 20% of my ideas into something workable. Had I lived, we probably would have revolutionised early detection of several dozen diseases. Yes, even cancer. I don't think it would have made much difference in the long run. I don't see Anna as the type to get routine checkups. Considering you're talking about cancer specifically, I assume you've got the rest of the story from Remy or Adine, right? Correct. I'm still not sure where my feelings are on this entire thing. But judging by how Remy has changed, it was a good idea to bring me back, as it were. I had no idea how far he'd fallen, and he got so closed off I couldn't even try until Ushio got involved. That does sound like him though. He wasn't exactly the easiest nut to crack when it comes to keeping things to himself, for good or ill. How's the big guy holding up, by the way? I don't think he ever took his eyes off me even for a second when we're both home so far. You are the love of his life after all. His entire life fell apart without you. I know, but with me and Amelie there, he's finally showing signs of his old self. I even beat him at one of his old favourite tabletop games, and he wasn't holding back either. That does sound like the old Remy. Speaking of Amelie, has she tried to bite you yet? Course, though unlike what I heard from Remy about him and you, she didn't manage to get through my scales. Why does she even do that? That's perfectly normal for hatchlings, especially runners. They're exploring their boundaries and strengths. Most kids her age don't realise just how strong their jaws can be. What about considering people tasty? Everything that's not bitter or overly sour is going to be tasty to a child, even if it has no taste at all. You know, for someone who hasn't actually birthed a kid yet, you sure do know a lot about being a mother already. While I was overworking myself on my last project, I still had time to try and learn the ins and outs of raising a child on the side. I see. But enough about the heavy stuff. We're here to see Angel wow the crowd with her debut performance. Thank you, thank you. Sure enough. I did tweak my routine a bit for safety though. I had dreams last night about what could have happened at the beach without Naomi there. And what could have happened at the competition if I got injured. So while I'm still in it to win it, I'm prepared to make sure I survive it too. Good to hear. Your health and safety is definitely more important than fame and accolades. Even Anna knows that. I agree. If anything, you should learn from my example. That sounds a bit morbid. Maybe, but it's still the truth. Right, so Adine, what are your plans? I'll have to spend most of my time at the competition grounds. We'll arrive there early so I can check in and do my warm-ups, and I'll still have to stick around after my performance to wait for the award ceremony. Well, I guess you two don't have to wait with me. You guys could see the rest of the festival if you wanted to. Out of the question, I'm here to spend time with you. The festival's not that important. I concur. We're here to see you fly first and foremost. Besides, we can always see everything on one of the other festival days. True. You could even watch the big fireworks show at the end with Anna. I really hope I'll actually get to see it this time. Every other time is always interrupted by Reza. Yeah, I heard about that. I'm a bit out of the loop on that one. Could you elaborate? Maybe another time. We've already had plenty of heavy topics for one morning. I see. It's not that important anyway, but if you have the opportunity, you really should go and take your girlfriend to the festival. I was actually thinking of inviting all my friends for a big get-together for it. I mean, if I'm already going, why not have everybody there? Now there's an idea. An idea for later, at least. Right, let's go. Oh, I'm hyped for this. It took a while for us to arrive at the festival, which had already begun by this point. The last of the booths that lined the way were still being set up, but dragons of all shapes and sizes were already pouring in. Instead of walking directly through the festival, we stayed outside the established paths, headed toward the stage where the competition was going to be held. Eventually, we arrived at a rather large open area near the facility that had been roped off. At one corner of the building, a few flyers had already gathered. Maybe you two should wait here while I get my number. Why? People might get the wrong idea if we all show up in the registration line. I mean, I can't fly. Besides, they certainly stare and start asking all kinds of questions. Yeah, I'm not sure what would be the bigger problem, asking about me or asking about the mythical human in this case. Both. Let's go with both. I'll be right back. After Adine had waddled off to the other flyers, I surveyed my surroundings idly. Beyond the big open-air area, seating had been provided, and I could already see a few people waiting for the competition to start. A few had even gathered on the roof of the building to watch from there. Hey, look. What's that? Amelia pointed at a different building next to the bleachers. The seats around that area were completely empty, and more importantly, The buildings topped seem to be blocked off, unlike the one I was initially looking at. You think they might let us get up there without much of a fuss? Why do you think they would? I don't know. Maybe if we said we didn't want to draw attention to you being here, we could secure a premium spot where we also don't draw attention to ourselves. I like the way you think. I'm back. Is that your number? She held up a piece of cloth with a large number printed on it. A few straps were hanging from it. What, this? No, of course not. This is Angel's number. She got you there. Oh, yeah, sorry for the mistake. I'm one of the last to start, actually. Are we late? No, I guess the others just arrived earlier to have more time to get ready. What do you think about the competition? I've seen most of them fly before. Some are really, really good. Especially number 16, if I recall correctly. Wait, you know Riptide? Well, I wasn't all that much interested. I've watched some of these races over the years. Well, I heard she might not compete this year due to other obligations. Wait, really? What other obligations? I don't know. They don't really tell us these things. I just read it in the news a few days ago. You and your magazines. Oh, quiet. It doesn't seem like there are many newcomers here though, so right now, I'm the odd one out. Maybe you could use that to your advantage. How so? Well, you know more about them than they do about you. Having a promising newcomer there might throw them off their game. I'm not so sure about that. After all, it's not as if any of our already choreographed performances would change based on what the others do now. Each of us just tries to do their best. I agree with Adine on this one. They don't tend to play mind games with each other. Most of this is done in their own heads, so they can focus on the routine during the competition. I can see what Remy sees in her. She's really clever. Most of them are seasoned flyers too, so they already know how to deal with that kind of pressure. If anything, I'm the one who might get nervous and mess up. I do have one advantage though. I'm still pretty young, and this is a sport with a great amount of wear and tear. There comes a certain point in time when you just can't perform as well as you used to. Many complicated maneuvers can only be performed by younger athletes. The older ones can make up for it using their experience, and with better execution of easier moves. In the end, a daring newcomer like me could surprise the audience and the judges with something new and unexpected, which is exactly what I plan to do. How good do you think your chances are? With a bit of luck, I might even be able to win. This is just a local competition after all. But you know what? Just being here right now and performing in front of so many people is a win for me. People will know me, and I'll probably get a mention somewhere in the local paper. I've trained for years, and my application to compete finally got accepted. Now I just have to make the most of it, and I'll be happy. I can hardly believe that I'm here. This is the moment I've worked so hard for. And we'll be watching. Oh, stop it, you're making me nervous. Sorry. Can you help me with this? She spread out her wing, and much to my relief, there was no bandage over it in this timeline. Maybe, just maybe, she actually has a chance. Putting one of the straps of the number to the side, I helped her wing slip inside the hoop before going around behind her and helping with the other hoop. Now there was a big number 11 draped across her back. She spread both of her wings, beating them a few times. No sagging, no misalignment, perfectly in sync with each other. I finally felt hope for her. Looking good, Angel? I agree. She seemed to be examining her shoulder, somewhat lost in thought when I spoke up. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. It's just the phantom pains I felt yesterday still concern me a bit. Did they come back today? Thankfully no, and hopefully they won't. Same here. Go show 'em what you're made of. Ushio and I will be trying to get some good seats in the meantime. Good idea. Don't take too long now. I watched as Adine put her goggles on and fixed the straps a bit. That all to do it. I'll see you guys after the competition. Good luck! She can do it. I see you're a bit concerned. Every other timeline, this is the point I'd have to dissuade Adine from participating, or else she'd die. And until we see her safe and sound at the end of the competition, I won't be able to stop worrying, no matter how much I try to. I see, but right now all we can do is believe in her, and trust that she stays safe. I know, she did say she tweaked her routine to be safer. However, I haven't seen it in action yet. Me neither. I never got to see her practice at all. I have before, which is where she would have gotten that injury that would have caused the fatal crash today. This is new territory for me. Me too. Well, you've been dead for a couple of years, so yeah. But let's distract ourselves for now. We still need a good seat. Right, you said something about the building over there. Yeah, let's go see what we can do about it. Amelia and I quickly went around to the other building, looking to find a way inside. We were immediately stopped by security. However, with some careful wording, Amelia could get through them. I'm sure allowing a human ambassador to sit in a place where he won't be bothered by onlookers is a good enough reason to let us in, right? After all, he wants to see the competition, and so does every dragon around the seats. Would be a shame if everybody was too busy looking at him, rather than the athletes, right? You make a good point, but if something goes wrong, you're going to be held accountable. Switching to an official tone, I clear my throat. I'll hold her accountable myself if I have to. She got the go-ahead from Chief Bryce, and as a non-officer, she's held to higher standards after all. If you say so, I'll trust you, Ambassador. Okay, let's get in. I can hardly believe that worked. You and me both. We were super lucky on that one. Amelia and I went to the edge of the building, using the fencing as a good indicator on where to stand. Peering over from one of the benches, we could see the entire competition grounds from here. Adine was nowhere to be found yet, probably still getting ready or warming up in one of the tents. Looks like it's about to begin soon. Odd how she's still not out of her tent yet. Just have faith. Gotta psych yourself up. Amelia's words of encouragement paid off, and soon enough the announcer began calling out the stage names and numbers one after the other. Welcome to the annual stunt flying competition, everybody. Please give a big round of applause to this year's competitors. Massive roars, shouts, and thunderous clapping could be heard from even as high up as where Amelia and I were sitting. I kept an eye out on the bleachers, wondering how dragons would even clap, only to realise Amelia was doing it too. I glanced to the side and noticed she was doing it like we did, clapping her forepaws together. However, the flyers down below used another method. Apparently it's more like tapping your clawed feet against the boards of the bleachers than actual clapping them together. Interesting. Are we ready? Eventually, we reached the halfway through the competition. Amelia and I were cracking jokes, making commentary, wondering if any of the stuff we've seen could be reused by Adine some other time in some other routine. And then we heard the announcement. Next on stage is number 11, a promising newcomer who will show her skills to the public here for the very first time in her debut performance. Please welcome Angel. There was an excited bout of clapping. The audience was always curious to see a newcomer on the stage. Here we go, here we go. And unlike every other timeline, there she was. I can't really tell what she's thinking from up here. I've seen her with her goggles over her eyes a few times. Look at the creases near the edge of her muzzle. She's determined. Come on, Angel. Show us what you're made of. Taking a few deep breaths, Adine got out onto the runway before spreading her wings wide. And with a running start, she was off. Go! She gotta do them skills. Just like in her practice session, Adine began with a few simple tricks to warm up, a roll followed by a loop, after which she did another roll. However, unlike Out by the Sea, even her warm-up routine looked less freestyle and more practiced. She did concentric circles, spiralling inside from the same starting point with smaller and smaller ones, before doing a brief nosedive. Just before she reached too close to the ground, she did a front roll, whipping her tail in front of her to activate the smoke trail tied to the crescent-shaped tip. Then it was time for the Angel's special. Just like she described a few days ago, it started off with circles near the ground. Then ascending into the sky, she began making smaller and smaller circles, spiralling ever upwards. Then at the apex, she did an aerial backflip, nosediving through the centre circle. It's at this point Amelia could see I was nervous. This so far looks exactly like the original and dangerous routine Adine was warned about. As she dived through the middle, she began doing her rolls, one after the other, once, twice. However, Unlike the other times, she didn't do a third roll. Instead, she pulled up just after reaching the lowest full circle in the stack, doing a U-shape, rising bend to get out from under all the smoke rings she created, using the momentum of the dive to do not one, not two, not three, but 5 consecutive rolls during her ascent. And the crowd erupted in oohs and ahs. I felt my fists clench. I was so close to just screaming, "Go Angel!" at the top of my lungs. I could feel Amelia's smirking gaze boring into my back. As the finisher to her finale, Adine whipped her tail in several directions mid-flight, balancing herself with her wings to create several hearts in the sky as a crown around the smallest smoke circle, before turning the thing off with a final circular whip, then doing several front flips while climbing above the entire construct. Ending with a complete aerial halt, and spreading all of her limbs wide with a flourish, she let herself go limp and gently glided back to the starting position, taking a bow. She survived, and she did well. That was amazing! I agree, she really showed her skills off with that one. She had me on edge there during the nosedive. I wonder how she doesn't get dizzy from all the spinning. She might not be a professional yet, but she's definitely a seasoned flyer. She did surprise me a few times though, especially the backflip before the dive. She must have trained a lot in my absence. I bet she did. Probably even during work sometimes, knowing her. Next up's number 12, a certain veteran you may know for his somewhat unusual technique. That does sound like the Adine I know. And the event goes on. I leaned over to the fence to see if she's still out there, but by then she'd waddled off back inside the main tent. Diverting our attention to the next contestant, Amelia and I continued to trade jabs and commentary until the remaining athletes did their own turns. Just like Adine said, some of them truly were really good. I couldn't even dream of bending my limbs or spine in the ways that some of these guys and gals could, never mind the whole flying thing. Eventually, all contestants were done, and the entire venue got a 45-minute recess so people could get something to eat or do other things while the judges of the contest made their decisions. Amelia and I decided it would be best to go and check on the Dean for ourselves, quickly using this time to go back down from our viewing spot and move around to the bleachers. How you doing there? You nervous? We found Adine pacing around, looking pretty nervous near the outside of the contestants' tent. Yo, she turned around when we called her name, waving us over. Hey, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm still a bit winded from the performance, but otherwise I've got a good feeling. What about you guys? I think her performance was just incredible, but I can see you're having some doubts. Well, I think I might have messed up the 6th circle in the spiral and kind of screwed up the tail flick at the top. I think the judges noticed that. I'm sure it'll be fine, and if not, there's always next year. You're a newcomer after all, so they shouldn't expect perfection to begin with. Yeah, but still, too many mistakes can really drag you down, especially on the first impression. Calm down a bit. It will do you no good to stress out, nor is it going to change the outcome now. I suppose you're right, but it's not that easy to just not worry. You're your own worst critic. You see issues in what you do that nobody else does. Beating yourself up over what-ifs does you no good in the end. Yeah, you're right. I guess all I can do is just wait for the inevitable. That's not what I meant. I know, but while I'm more of a dreamer, even I have to face reality sometimes. That's not the Adine I know. Come on, chin up. Have a little more faith in yourself than that. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Amelia, but I really am fine. I can't change what the judges think now, so there's really nothing else for me to do than just sit and wait and hope for the best. We could sit and wait with you, if you want. Oh, how kind of you to offer. Oh, there goes the music. Eventually, everybody returned to their seats, and most of the contestants have returned to the tent. The 45 minutes were up, and it was time to announce the winners. All of us sat watching with bated breath as the scoreboard on the other side of the arena lit up, putting all 15 contestants into order. Slowly, the numbers were rising based on several categories: execution, complexity, and finally, speed. Except for 5 contestants who suspiciously stayed at 0. One of them being number 11. All 3 of us grew concerned with the oddity until we realised that they were leaving the last 5 for the top. Ooh, top 5. And coming in 5th place with 73 points, number 4, Majesty. As cheers rung out, I could feel the knots in my stomach churning. 4th place, 9 more points at 82 is 14, Speed Trap. Okay, I think that means you made it to top 3? Can hardly believe it. We'll take that. Final 3. Who's going to be reaching for gold or silver or bronze? Oh, come on, just spit it out. Rude. Gotta tease it. With a near perfect score of 87, our bronze medalist is 11. Hey, you got bronze. We didn't even listen to the other 2 announcements. We were too concerned with how utterly disappointed Adine looked. Cheer up, Adine. You still made it to the top 3. But I didn't win. Did you know how much I trained for this? Only to get a measly 3rd place? I don't, but what I do know is that you gave it your all and beat at least 12 other people who didn't even get a medal, and they were all veterans as well. They're all like regulars. Amelia's right. For your very first time in participation as an amateur in literally the only timeline out of all that I can remember, 3rd place is an amazing feat. You've got absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. Exactly. I wholeheartedly agree. You gave it your best, and you still made bronze. You can't expect to immediately, on your first try, make it to the very tippy top. But this was just a local competition. Winning this would have probably got me a sponsorship or something, so I could at least get out of this dead-end minimum wage job. Think of it this way. If you do get sponsored now regardless, you'd have to not only quit your job, but spend most of your living and waking life training, probably with trainers and people you don't even know. When would you have had time for the orphanage, or for your friends like Remy and Amelia? Do you want your dreams to consume your entire life? There's a dark side to fame, you know. I think I might have been a bit too harsh there. I need to cheer her up somehow. Should I? Give her a hug? Try and say something encouraging. I think I hug a bit too much. I don't know. Let's just be cool about it. Maybe. I don't know. Come on. Don't let this get you down. You still won. Even if it's not the top spot, it has to count for something. If you're on the podium, that's cool. Yeah, you're right. I think it's time for you to get going, Adine. You wouldn't want to seem rude and not take your prize with you, right? Actually, yeah. I've delayed long enough by being lost in my head. I totally forgot the medal. I'll be right back. To get a prize on your first go, it's pretty damn good in my opinion. Do you think she'll get over it? I sure hope so. I don't think she should be this shaken by only winning 3rd place. It's still a lot more than most of the others. She's not one to look a gift human in the mouth. Excuse me. Oh, I only had that expression a few times in my life. Before humans being real was confirmed, kinda slipped out. Oh, well, it more or less just surprised me because we have a similar expression back home, just with horses. What's a horse? A type of non-sapient mammal we used to use for labour for riding around on. Oh, I see. Adine seems to be taking a while. Well, it is an award ceremony after all. They're probably taking pictures of her. Right. Maybe she'll get her wish of being noticed or sponsored anyway. 3rd place should be good enough, right? I wouldn't know anything about it, to be honest. I'm not really all that well versed on how it works in sports. I think it should be something to be satisfied with. The rest of the day went pretty uneventfully. Adine, Amelia and I got a few pretzels and drinks to indulge on, discussing which of the flyers we've seen we were impressed by and which ones felt a bit more lacking. We also talked at length about what sort of manoeuvres Adine could incorporate into her routine later on down the line, as some of the dragons among the older ones have been getting worse at their tricks according to her, presenting her with opportunities to improve on them without plagiarising anything. Apparently, Adine had been watching and keeping tabs on her rivals while waiting for her turn, which was a smart move. In the end, it was soon enough time to go. Amelia bid farewell to us and went back home to meet up with Remy and Amelie. A mother's job is never done after all. I don't think she should be so down on herself about it. I think she did a good job. We walked away from the festival and approached a tree in the outskirts of town. As the other competitions were nearly over, the darkness had already set in. Here should be good. So, have you gotten over the disappointment of not making first yet? Kinda, and I also understand your point about fame. You were right with everything you said. How do you feel now? Hopeful. They took a few pictures, maybe sign a few other things regarding the prize. I even got a nice little lump sum of cash for making it into the top 3. Sure, it's nothing close to what first and second place got, but now at least I can have some savings, so I wouldn't have to eat ramen for a few weeks the next time something goes wrong at my job. That's nice. We both sat down for a bit under the tree where we usually are at by this time, taking a few deep breaths of the crisp night air. Hey, look at the sky. Can you see that light? The one that looks a bit brighter than all the others. I mean the Death Star? Yeah, I know about it. I looked up and saw many celestial bodies lighting up the sky. One of them was noticeably brighter than all the other stars. Yeah. I usually practice in the evening and stay until it's dark, so I see the stars pretty often. I noticed something about this one though. Kinda moves. That's actually one of the reasons I keep travelling back in time. Really? You gotta start with that now. I'm kinda serious. Could you hear me out? You told me you believe it, so please listen. Fine. That thing's moving because it's not a star. It's actually an asteroid, over 10 kilometers wide, and heading straight for us. What? I've already told the council about it, and we're all preparing a massive project to get rid of it though. You got nothing to worry about. They have an office in one of the cities that watches these kinds of things. I called them about it a while ago, and they said it was just passing by. They assured me of it too. They say calculating the paths of celestial bodies is a very complicated science, and not really an exact one. Well, the PDA I brought with me from my world can calculate it exactly, and through time travelling, I've learned that the moon is going to put it off course, unless we do something about it, and we'll, it's going to kill everyone. That's kind of terrible. Are you sure the council can do it? They did manage to do it in some timelines. As long as we follow the same path we did in the ones where they managed to do it, we should be fine. Worst case scenario, we can just evacuate everybody to the human world again. Again? Last timeline we kinda had to do that. We managed to do it, but Anna died from her cancer before we could finish a cure for her, which is kinda why I came back. Then I prevented almost everything bad that always happens in the previous timelines by punching Reza in the face on the night he would have disappeared otherwise. I see. What's up? In the other timelines, right about now, is when I would ask, what do you think if I told you that I'm a time traveller from the future? And then you'd say don't joke about something like that, because I'd believe you. That's freaky. I literally had that same thought just now. Are you also a mind reader? Nah, now that would be too far-fetched. Which does raise the question though. You said you came from the future, but our creation myth says that humans existed in the past before we were created. That's not something I can reveal, sadly. There's some things that I just can't tell anybody. Oh, come on. You're meddling with the time already. What harm would there be in telling me more? Sorry, Adine, but some things I could tell would destroy your civilization overnight, and I'm not taking those kinds of risks. Not even with Anna. Okay then, keep your secrets. What about the humanity you come from, though? Why don't you tell me more about your world? I don't like talking about that. It's much prettier here. I don't believe you. It's the truth. I'll believe it when I see it with my own eyes. I'd love to visit your world. I don't think that's going to be a good idea to visit us right now. Why not? Do you know what our world's like? Are there any rumours about it? Not really. There hasn't been much speculation about that yet. Of course we're curious though. Next time, we want to send one of our ambassadors into your world, to make it even and all that. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Who would they send? Send Ebera, I don't know. Don't be so negative. I took a deep breath and sighed dejectedly. Any normal time, I'd say something dumb like, I'm sorry, it's not up to me to determine the best course of action. I'm just a lowly ambassador after all. To deflect, But now, I'll just say one crucial piece of information, and then I'll ask you to please drop it, okay? Alright. Our world got hit by a massive solar flare a couple of decades ago. The electromagnetic shock sent us back to nearly the Stone Age. Whatever's left of humanity in my world is barely holding on, barely scraping by on scraps of still working tech, like the PDAs I brought with me for our trade agreement. We need electricity more than anything, and most cities have been completely wiped out since the flare. My world is a complete and total wreck on the brink of annihilation, so yeah, it's kind of not a good idea for you to visit us until at least the trade is complete and we can finally secure ourselves some hope. Whatever hopes of utopia you and the rest of your kind think we have, and sorry to dash your hopes, but it's kind of not true. Oh, I see. I guess if the meteor's to be considered, we're more alike than we thought. Actually, you're not that far off with that thought. Both of us are facing extinction, one way or the other. And we both need each other to survive. I'm not too sure you guys need us anymore, now that you have the information on the meteor. Until I convinced the council, you guys thought it wasn't a threat. Now that they do believe it, the one thing we can offer is what scraps of advanced tech we still have, and to be honest, doesn't really seem like you really need it, beyond just curiosity. You might have a point there. But still, without your intervention, we wouldn't even know what hit us. I'd say that already makes you a crucial partner. Point taken. We fell back into silence, just enjoying the chirping of the wildlife in the grass. I even started to feel a little drowsy. Maybe it's time for me to get home. I'd walk you, but I guess you'd be faster if you flew. Not if you'd like to come with me. What for? I don't know. Just feels like... Wait. I'm feeling a weird case of deja vu. Like you're supposed to escort me home. Yeah, sounds about right. Your detachable showerhead's broken at home, right? Yes. Thought so. You and your time travel knowledge. Well, since my wing isn't injured this time, I can manage it on my own. But if you'd like, I could still invite you over, and we could watch some more Humans. You really like that show, huh? Amelia and I used to binge watch it 10 episodes at a time. We still might do that again now that she's back. I wonder what her opinion on it is. She liked it plenty, not as much as Remy and I, but she's definitely still liked it. Maybe there's more seasons. She's missed out on some stuff. Though she did start to think the whole human thing was a bit of a gimmick by the end of where we stopped watching together. Why did you stop? Amelia's job ramped up all of a sudden not long after that, and then she and Remy had to stop seeing each other for a while. I mean, sure, we spent time together every now and then. We used to live in the same apartment after all, but she was far too exhausted to watch sitcoms, considering she worked well into the night on her own. So her work consumed even her free time. Pretty much. Hold on, run that past me again. Remy also watched it? Oh, he's almost as big a fan as I am. In fact, one of the reasons Amelia and I used to binge it was so that he could understand our in-jokes. I'm not sure if he still watches the show, but I know I do. Considering he volunteered to be my guide, and how fascinated he still is about humans, I'd say he just might be. Though I guess since he's more of a scientific mind, he might be thinking the costumes are as wrong as I do. I bet he does. So, what do you say? Do you want to come over and watch some more or not? Yeah, let's go hang. I've been meaning to learn more about dragon culture anyway. Cool, let's get going. I even brought some snacks since the last time, so you don't have to go hungry while we do. Alright, I hope you aren't thinking of watching 10 episodes in a row with me as well. You got me. Come on, let's go. Adine and I made our way back to her apartment in about an hour or so, talking about the rest of her obsession with the sitcom. Apparently it's on its 9th season by now, and Adine was somewhere near the tail end of the 4th with Amelia. Adine handed me a bag of some kind of chips as we sat down, giving me a chance to see what kind of snacks dragons have, that we also either do or don't. She turned the TV on, but instead of flipping over some channels, she actually had the earlier seasons recorded. Each season had a different overarching plot that really connected to the previous season, so beyond just introducing who's who, not much was required to get invested. Despite me not wanting to sit there for 10 episodes straight, she managed to convince me to watch almost as many. Once I got past the horrifying costumes, the story does seem to just suck the viewer in. By the time we were done, it was well past midnight, so much like every other timeline, I took up Adine on her offer on the beanbag chair. It was afternoon by the time I woke up, not even realising how exhausted I was from both the past 2 weeks and yesterday's excitement over the race. Adine was already gone by then, leaving me a note that she went to check on Remy and Amelie, and I was free to grab a bite before going back home. Deciding against freeloading, I wrote an answer note thanking her for her hospitality before making myself scarce. That's it. Out. I wonder what the costumes in humans look like. Because, like, is it runners wearing the costumes? Would it be, I don't know, an Earth Dragon wearing the costume? Which would look really weird. But that's it for this episode. We hung out with Bryce and we finally saw Adine's flying competition and everything went well. I think third place is fine. But that is it for now. This is Ushir signing off and hopefully I will see you next time.